Welcome back to Firestorm Games, and you're joining us as we take a look at one of Games Workshop's latest releases for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, the Myrmidesh Painbringers for the Hedonites of Slaanesh. As always, we'll be building a couple of the models from this kit whilst talking about how they fare on the tabletop and how they look before finishing off with a few of the assembled models. So, let's get started. The Myrmidesh Painbringers set is in fact a dual build kit and comes with the components required to build 5 Painbringers or 5 Symbaresh Twinsouls. Now both of these units form the elite foot infantry of the Hedonites of Slaanesh. They both bring to bear heavier armour and more of a close combat orientated battlefield role. Whereas the Blissbarb archers are there to harass your opponents with their fast movement and ranged weaponry, the Painbringers and the Twinsouls will find themselves in the thickest of the fighting. But while they share similarities, they both offer their own unique take on the combat phase. The Painbringers are the elite fighters. They value their combat abilities above all others, and so are extremely prideful. On the tabletop, they feature a stat line remarkably similar to that of the Stormcast Sequitors or Liberators. With 2 wounds, 7 bravery, and a 4+ save, their main difference is a 6-inch move, giving them an extra inch of over Sigmar's finest. So, even though their base stats are on par with the Sigmarites, the Painbringers do feature some enhanced damage output. Armed with a Wicked Scimitar, each fighter can unleash 2 attacks, wounding and hitting on 3s with a modest 1 damage and -1 to rend. This is further supplemented by the Dance of the Wailing Blade special rule, which allows unmodified 6s to wound to cause a bonus mortal wound. This means that they should be dishing out a consistent amount of damage each turn, but with only a maximum of 11 attacks per turn for a unit of 5, chances are you'll want to keep this unit away from tar pits and other horde units. The Painbringers are instead much better suited acting as dependable anvils, allowing your opponents to fall upon them and be held in place, allowing for your faster, deadlier but squishier units to get into position. With 2 wins each, a 4+ save and the ability to re-roll their saves, the Painbringers should be able to hold their own against enemies that could easily mow through your more lightly armoured units, while still dealing a moderate amount of damage. The Twinsouls, on the other hand, forgo dependability in order to benefit from an increased damage output. These demonically possessed mortals share the same profile as the Painbringers, with the added bonus of having 8 inches of movement, allowing them to outpace most other infantry units. Their weaponry is a little less precise too. They dish out more attacks and damage than the Painbringers, but forgo any rending capabilities and only hit on 4s. This makes them much better suited for taking on softer skinned but more numerous units, or those units that rely on high wound values rather than armour for defence. The Twinsoul special ability reflects their possessed nature and allows them to adopt one of 2 abilities, alternating on each turn. One ability allows them to reroll hits, which massively helps with that 4+ to hit, whereas the other offers the chance to negate wounds or mortal wounds on the roll of a 5+. While these are strong abilities, the fact that they must alternate each turn means that it will require a little pre-planning to get the most out of them. As such, pairing them up with a Lord of Pain can be a good strategy. His Paragon of Depravity command ability can help to secure that reroll hits turn after turn. This gives you the most potential damage output, whilst also halving the command point cost. Plus, by bringing in a Lord of Pain, you make both the Painbringers and the Twinsouls battle line, which opens up your options for list building considerably. So while there are some key differences between the two, they both occupy that elite infantry niche. They are, generally speaking, much better all-rounders than the other mortal units in the Hedonites of Slaanesh. So now that we've covered the rules, how are the models? Now both of the build options in the set use the same core structure of the torso and legs, with only the unit leaders having different torsos to help distinguish them. The main difference come in the alternative heads and arms. The Painbringers are essentially built like foot knights, wearing full plate armour and all-encompassing helmets. Their armour is typically Slaaneshi, featuring lots of sweeping elegant curves and spikes across their person. This is complemented by cloth tabards and topknots, which gives the unit more of a pristine appearance than other forces of chaos. The Painbringers' armaments are similarly stylish, with each model carrying a large shield and wielding a curved and ornately detailed scimitar. Overall, this gives the unit a very elite and heavy look, while still blending in nicely with the other Slaanesh theme. The Twinsouls, on the other hand, are less heavily armoured, and the unit having more lightly armoured arms and exposed heads. The faces of these heads are distorted, featuring horns and wicked smiles, reflecting their possessed nature. Their weapon options are also much more varied. Instead of a standard sword and shield combo, each warrior carries a different weapon, including flails, whips, maces, and punch daggers, as well as an assortment of bladed weaponry. Compared to the Painbringers, this makes them appear much less uniform and a little more chaotic. This helps to separate the two nicely from each other though, even though they use the same kit as a basis. Now, unfortunately, there isn't too much in the way of variation in the kit's content. You will receive enough parts to build 5 Painbringers or 5 Twinsouls, and few components to allow for customization of your unit leaders, but apart from that, you're very limited. Going by the instructions, you would think that there is only one way to build each of the kits, but the connection between the arms and legs against the torso is fairly interchangeable, with a little bit of light trimming and slight adjustment. So let's finish off the construction and take a look at a couple of the finished models. And here we have an assembled Painbringer and a Twinsoul. Overall, if you're a Hedonites of Slaanesh player and are looking to bring in some heavier elite infantry to complement your lighter units, then this kit is a great option, regardless of which unit you choose to build. If you're looking to pick this kit up for yourself, you'll be able to save yourself a bit of money, as well you'll find this kit with at least 10% off the RRP on the Firestorm Games webstore, which you can find a link to in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave your comments and subscribe to be kept up to date with all of our future videos. And so we just want to say a big thank you for watching this video, and we hope to see you again on Firestorm Games.